I work with this really fantastic woman, Mickey Kashtan. Again, another person really worth checking out her work if you haven't come across it. And she's talked about purpose-led healing recently, and which I realise I have been undertaking the last few years. Which is, if you've decided that your purpose in life is to do whatever you can to raise awareness and make a crisis that we're in less bad, or whatever, you know, do what you can to protect life on Earth, then what healing is needed in order to serve that purpose? So I mean, so I want to be clear on that, actually, that I don't particularly subscribe to this idea, if we all shift consciousness, that everything's going to be fine in the world because we're a mirror of the world outside. I mean, I understand where that's coming from, and I think there's some validity, but if we're having to wait for everybody to shift, we also have to bear in mind that we're in a society that's re-traumatizing us all the time. Like, right, so like, for example, as a white person, I can do, and I must do what I can, I believe, to understand how racism is showing up in me. But as I once heard in a TED talk, it's like keeping your teeth clean. It's not like having your tonsils removed. Do you see what I mean? It's so you have an ongoing need to recover from a society that's telling you that what you need is little ones playing in the bushes here. What you need is, you know, if you're a white privileged person, not just white, but you know what I'm saying, if you're in a Western culture, just keep your head down, earn what you can, and spend your money. It's constant pressure to do that, right? So I would say we have to change the system, and so you focus on what. This is my thinking. I mean, I'm, you know, open to other ideas, but you focus on what leverage you have and you can do around systemic change, and then the kind of personal journey within that is, you know, what's getting in the way of me doing that work. Do you see what I mean? The difference between sort of try and just, you know, because we're full of trauma, right? Which you're going to start with. Well, you know, for me, in the last couple of years, been on this journey where I've been organising with a social movement, it's like there's so much that I've had to learn around how power works when I got power that and expect and wasn't aware of, and how it feels to be blamed for things at times, you know, and you're like, oh, people don't like me, you know, all that nonsense, or the opposite, where people are like, you know, celebrating you, and like, fuck, you know, what the needs that we have, like we can, like, so I have a frozen need for approval, right? It's like old trauma. Please approve of me. The minute people are approving of me, I'm like, oh, will you stop? It's awful. So all sorts of baggage we carry, isn't there? And which bit do we need to kind of work on? So yeah, I think it's an interesting journey for each of us.
Yeah, I mean, as these kind of social species that, as you say, have been kind of atomized and traumatized, like when it comes to organizing socially, you know, in politics or any other way, we're constantly triggering each other's traumas unconsciously, I think, which is what leads to this kind of toxic mess that we're currently in, you know, instead of social organizing being something positive and collaborative, it's just this, you know, when people don't even understand what's happening, kind of by definition it's unconscious, you know, when these traumas are triggered. And as you say, it's happening in all of us. You know, the most kind of saintly person probably still has their own issues, and that's partly why I'm kind of advocate for psychedelic medicine, because I see that as a catalyst for healing these kinds of things.